Most people set their goals for the new year without even asking the questions that really matter. They look at motivation or routines, but they avoid the simple questions that show where life is actually stuck. And yeah, while these questions might be uncomfortable, they give you immediate clarity on what you need and how to move forward in 2026. And especially stick around for the last question because I'll discuss misogi, which is a Japanese concept that truly changed my years. Let's go. The first question is, what part of your life are you pretending is fine even though it's draining you? We're quite good at sustaining something that might be draining us because in our comfort zone, we tend not to notice this. For some people, it might be a job. It's stable, but at the same time, it's killing their ambition and they feel smaller every month they have this job. I recognize this feeling. I've had this. In keeping this job, yes, you are surviving. You're living with it. But the problem is that you keep doing the same thing over and over as a means to an end every day without clear direction, without a clear goal. So your days start to blur together. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and months become years. And before you know it, time has passed you by. Because life was repeating. And when life starts repeating, you start dying a slow death. Because that's not what living is. Living happens through change. Change happens through growth. And growth only happens through challenge. So this question allows you to define what you're just simply maintaining while it's draining you. And that's the exact thing you need to grab onto for the next year and change. Question 2 is, if a camera would follow you for the next 30 days, would you respect the man you see? This reframe changed a lot for me. Because when I was simply self-reflecting, it's easier to lie to yourself. But then if you ask yourself and imagine your life to be a movie, this 30-day slice of life, are those 30 days something you are proud to show? Is that a movie of a man whom you respect? Well, for me, I respect some moments. I went to the gym, I did some productive things, read a book here and there. But then the camera would also catch me scrolling late nights, skipping workouts when I actually said I would go, and avoiding tasks that I knew mattered. But let's do them tomorrow. And tomorrow came and didn't do them. Let's do them tomorrow. That's not something I would be proud of, because that movie shows inconsistency. That's not a movie I want to show, much less a movie I want to live, because I know how it's going to end for that dude in that movie. So asking the question in this way, because I love movies, really allowed me to scrutinize my own life from an objective point of view, as if I'm the viewer. Now imagine the whole cinema watching that movie. Let's make sure that it's a movie that you want people to see. Question 3. What identity are you still defending that no longer fits where you want to be? We have a very natural tendency to keep homeostasis, like an equilibrium, to keep the status quo. What is. You want to keep it the same. That is no different for your identity. Yeah, you have dreams, you have goals, aspirations, things you want, but for some reason you also are your current self. And you cling on to that person because that's what you know. And in that way, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, or so you think. But in reality, it's keeping you where you currently are. That identity change needs to happen for your life to change. A friend of mine wanted to quit smoking, and so he did for a couple months, right? But I noticed every time someone else would grab a smoke, he'd be saying things like, as a smoker, that just kills me. Or a smoker, I miss that, man, I love it. He was still identifying as a smoker. So every time he didn't grab that cigarette, every time someone else grabbed one, he in that moment was a smoker, in that moment choosing not to smoke. That was his identity. So eventually he'd still end up being that smoker. And so he did. He went back to smoking again because his identity kept him there. The only way for you to change is if you first give yourself the evidence that you can, which he did, but then also recognize the gift that you have to give yourself when you do those actions, which is you build evidence that you are no longer that person. If you then start verbally confirming or affirming yourself in the wrong direction by saying, I am that person, then the resistance you're building is futile because you're resisting against an identity that you don't want to change. So build habits, allow that evidence to change your identity, and then get to where you want to be. Question 4. What truth about yourself have you avoided saying out loud? What are the things that you hide? Are you scared of trying your real dream because you fail at it and you might lose the last piece of hope that you currently have about your future? Because if that's a truth that you're hiding, for example, then that means that you don't believe that you can achieve it. So now you identify self-limiting belief. Or maybe you're afraid of publicly failing, so that's why you don't say it out loud. Introducing the social aspect of things, introducing the public eye to what you do or don't do and say or don't say, allows you to recognize what you're hiding for others or what you are hiding from. For me, it was fear of failing in the public eye. And asking this question allowed me to understand that. If that's holding you back, this is how you find out. Question 5. If you keep living exactly as you are right now, who will you become in the next 5 years? I would implore you to write this down right now. Your current actions, habits, routines, job, life, everything you do in a day, week, and month, compile it together in one big list and hypothesize who that person is going to become. So say you want to fix your sleep schedule, but right now every night you keep scrolling on your phone. Well, you know that in 5 years' time, that person is still going to be having sleep problems. If you have a dream job that you want to have, but you're still focusing all your efforts on your current job, it's tiring out to the point that in the weekends you're throwing them away because you have to relax and recover, well, then that means you're going to keep having those same problems in the next 5 years. If you're living and stuck in your comfort zone, in 5 years it means you're still stuck in your comfort zone and comfortable but disappointed in yourself because you have a lot of what ifs. You have the same job, same doubts, same everything. Allow that person whom you know you'll be with your current habits and routines, allow that person that you'll be in 5 years to scare you. Fear that life. Be disgusted with it. That's what I had to do to overcome all my fears. And it will do the same for you because this person, you can also flip it. Who will you become in 5 years if you do all the things that you should be doing? The routines, the habits, the wants, the needs, that goal that you have, the aspiration that you might have, for that person to become that person, what do you have to do? Make that list. Now, what scares you more? Staying the same person, staying stuck where you are perpetually for the next years to come, or breaking to your limits and stepping into the unknown and potentially becoming the person that you want to become? I knew the answer for me, staying stuck, was definitely the more scary part, and that life was disgusting to me. So change had to happen, and so it did, because one fear was stronger than the fear of the other. Next question is, which relationship in your life requires a boundary or an ending? Now, with all these questions, we're focusing on ourselves, we're focusing on what we have to do, our introspection, reflection, all these things are important. But if you don't change your relationship hygiene, so your environment shaped by the people around you, it's going to be very hard to live the life you want, become the person you want, the man you want. It's all going to be to your detriment because you are simply influenced by the people around you. While cliche, it's cliche for a reason. It's simply true. So you need to be able to set boundaries. You need to know who pops up when you ask this question. You know. End it or set a boundary. Because with the previous question, you just established what they would be taking away from you. and this is a person who actually loves you and is there to support you, then you don't have to cut them off. Then you don't have to set a boundary, because they will understand and they will help you grow. That's what love is. If they take away from you, they don't empower you, they don't support you, which isn't being a yes man, it's also saying no. That's not what I mean, but if they're taking away from your energy, they're being toxic, they pay attention to the wrong things, they have hobbies that don't align with yours, and they just waste time, party, all these things are going to influence you, cut them off. Because now you know what they would be taking from you. Or rather, you'd be taking from yourself by staying in touch with them. Question 7. What skill or discipline have you avoided because it would expose that you are a beginner? Man, these days with social media and the egos that you see, this is a big one. We have pride as men. You have pride as well, right? So you don't want to fail, you don't want to start anew, but that's where the challenge lies. Try a new pursuit, a new skill, a new challenge. Be the person in the room who isn't the smartest, because then you're in the right room. Be the person who is daring to fail, because that is where you learn. Conor McGregor's coach, John Kavanagh, has this great saying, win or learn. Well, you've got two options. Either you win or you learn, so you've got nothing to lose. You only lose by not exposing yourself to environments where you are indeed a beginner, because this is where your growth happens. Your pride keeps you stuck. Your willingness to expose yourself makes you grow. Question 8. Where in your life are you lying about effort? For example, I kept telling myself I was serious about fitness, but the truth was I only train when I feel like it. And my effort is nowhere near the effort that's needed to achieve the goal that I wanted to achieve. So, this was years ago, I changed it. No more laissez-faire, laid back, I go when I want, or, skip a workout here or a meal there or whatever. No, just stop lying. Either cut the effort and energy spent on something you're doing halfway, or don't do it halfway and actually commit to it. There is no in between. This will allow you to scrutinize between what's worth pursuing and what isn't, because if you do things halfway, stop doing them. Don't spread yourself too thin. Instead, cut those things and take the things that you want to take seriously and you actually want to commit to, and start committing to those things. Question 9. What insecurity controls more of your choices than you would like to admit? Do you have fear of being judged? Are you holding back ideas? Are you staying quiet in groups? Are you afraid to approach people? I certainly was at a point in time. I had fear of rejection. These securities control your life, but they're not based on facts. Those insecurities are based on emotion. That means that if you let those lead your life, you're leading an emotional life, and your life is led by emotion. Now, that's a recipe for disaster, because emotions are fleeting, they're up and down, they're transient. You don't really have a grip on them. Whereas if you keep those at bay, now there's focus and clarity. Now there's a clear path forward. Do you have a fear of being rejected? You know what to do, expose yourself to it. Do you have a fear of being judged? You know what to do, expose yourself to it. Do you have social anxiety? Expose yourself to it. All those things basically show you exactly where you need to go. So flip those fears on its head. Take them as indicators of what to jump into instead of run away from. Question 10. If next year you had one defining achievement, what would make you proud enough to say the year really mattered? This question can drive your whole year forward. It certainly did for me. In Japan, they have this concept, it's called misogi. It's where you pick a challenge for the purpose of personal growth. So it shaves away a layer from you like an onion and reveals a better, more improved layer. This challenge has to be difficult. So it could be a marathon, could be a body you want to achieve, could be a fight that you want to have in boxing or another martial art. Pick one and commit to it. Don't spread yourself too thin. Don't make it a habit to focus on 10 dreams and goals. Pick one mission and one direction and go all the way. Because say you can take 100 steps in a year. and you pick 10 things, then you're gonna take 10 steps towards each of those things, because 100 divided by 10 is 10. Whereas if you pick one and you take 100 steps in that direction, one, you get way further, and two, there are way more challenges when you advance into a certain direction. That way, you get growth, because those challenges will get harder and you will have to scale those walls. But in doing so, that's where you peel that layer of the onion behind and a new layer gets revealed. Without a direction, without a meaning to your life, it's also easier to give up, because you need something bigger than yourself in this given day. If today you wake up and you don't feel like getting out of bed because it's cold and it's nice and cozy, and you have no extra reason above you just doing what you do to get out of that bed, you won't. If you see notifications on your phone and you have no reason not to look at those notifications other than just you doing what you do, then you certainly will grab this phone and look at those notifications, and 30 minutes will have passed by the time you put it down, if you're lucky. Whereas if you have a reason, if you have something to live towards, that means that when these things happen, you'll override them, because you know what actually matters. You know what you're moving towards. You know your direction this year and for many years to come. Because guess what? You peel that layer off, you know where the next layer needs to be and what you need to do to achieve it. So in doing this, that's where the key lies. This can't miss in your next year. Those resolutions, they're nice to have, but without direction, you won't stick to them. Pick a direction, stick to it, go all the way. That way the next year you'll kill it. See you in the next one.